Welcome to Hear Yourself podcast, and for this episode, we're going to be talking about how to get out of a reading slump and ways to read better. So basically, the reason why I would say you should find ways to get out of a reading slump, like for example, if you want to read a book and you don't feel motivated to do it, it's not about motivation. It's more so about discipline, because motivation is like something that gives you a spark to want to do something, but then slightly that spark goes away. Otherwise, discipline is more something like, oh, okay, well, no matter what, this is something I have to do, have to push yourself, not being hard on yourself, but just pushing yourself to do something that you know you have to do. If you know you chose to read a book, then literally you need to tell yourself no, I'm going to finish this book. If it's a book you really want to read and your brain tells you to go buy another book or go find another book and download it, well, then you say, no, I have other books I have to finish. You tell yourself that because if you think about it, and I'm a person who's fully guilty of this. I have a whole TBR list, probably over close about to 800 plus books in my library. And I am a person who's very guilty of this because I would literally have a bunch of books in my library and I don't finish them. I have tons of books that I haven't even finished. And sometimes it can be from being distracted by something. For example, I did say I was taking a social media break, but because I have my whole career stuff on social media, I still had to keep my stuff on there so I can be able to manage everything. But at the same time, it's as soon as I saw something that was appealing on social media, it got me so distracted and I just got sucked in by it. And then after that, it kind of made me not want to read my books. I just started feeling like I didn't want to finish reading my books. I started just feeling I don't know. I don't want to finish my books. So sometimes it can be from being distracted, and sometimes it can be from just not, it's probably just too overwhelming. Because imagine having over 800 books in your library, and then you have this one special book you want to read, but then when you see those other books, it makes you feel okay, I gotta finish my books. It makes me feel like I gotta read this book. Well, I gotta read that book. Well, I gotta read that book. That's gonna be too overwhelming, and you don't want to overwhelm yourself. So I would say the best thing to do is find a book that you want to read right now, and then read that book. Set a timer for 15 minutes or 20 minutes and read that book. And then take a break, take 5 minutes of a break or 10 minutes of a break, and then go and find another book that you're interested in and read that book. Because if you go on too many books, and another thing too, you can't just take a book and then read one book and then go to the other book, but then read another book and then read another book. You can't do it like that, because then it's going to get very overwhelming. And then all the stuff that you calculated from the first book, you're not going to remember it because there's too many information that's being clogged up in your brain from different books, and you're just probably going to get very confused. So the best thing I would say is pick one book that you're most likely interested in. So the second thing I would say is pick different genres of a book. So, for example, if you're reading a book that is self-help, you can also read a next book that's a poetry book. That's what I did. And it made me felt not bored. I didn't feel bored. The reason why is because when you're reading too many books that's with the same genre, your brain is starting to get bored. So your brain needs something different to interest its spark. So, for example, you could like nonfiction books, but, you don't want to get too many nonfiction books in your library, because if you get too many nonfiction books in your library, and you read too many of them, your brain will start to get bored. So then you might have to want to try out a book of a fiction book, or try out, I don't know, like maybe literature books, or try out books that are like about science or something. Like try to like surprise your brain. Like you never know, like you might like those new books that you know, get into, and then guess what? When you surprise your brain with a different spark of book, a different genre, your brain is going to be motivated or like, you know, excited to read more books because you just gave it something that interest it spark. So that's the thing. So you can't just read so many books with the same genre, because that is what's going to throw you off. That's what's going to make you not want to like read more books, because your brain is going to want something different to read. Like looking at the same information over and over and over about the same subject is boring. Like it is so boring. So yeah, your brain is going to want different things to read. Okay, so the next thing I would say is read a book that you read before. Like, for example, if you read a book before that you liked, read that again. That's going to motivate you. Or I'm going to stop saying motivating, because I don't like the word motivate. I'm going to say discipline, because I like discipline. Or I'm going to say spark. That's going to give you the spark to want to read you know, more books, because you read a book before that you like. So your brain thinks, okay, I'm going to read more books because I like this first book. So yeah. And then also try out doing an audiobook. Like if you're not really into reading like books, like, you know, physically, try to like hear the books that you're reading. You can do this so easy. Like you can search up books on YouTube. Like if you don't, you know, want to pay for Kindle, you can go on YouTube and search up books that you would like to read, you know, find books on there and search up ones that you would like to read and type an audiobook of it and listen to it. And that will be more better. And that'll probably give you a deeper way to, you know, understand the book. And some people, you know, don't like, you know, reading books physically, and that's fine. But if you know, if it's a little too much for you, just, you know, do audiobook instead, which would probably help you get out of a reading slump. And then read an author that you like. Like, for example, if Stephen King, if you like Stephen King books, if you like this man, you like all his books, read books of his. But still remember what I said. Like, just don't read too many of his books. You just have to read it separate genre by separate genre. Because if you read too many books with the same genre, your brain is going to get bored. So you don't want to get your brain bored. So if you want to keep your brain from getting bored, keep sparking your brain up. Keep sparking your brain up. And the last one I would say is try to do a thing where you read 5 pages. So for example, or 10 pages. So for example, get your book out that you're about to read at the start of the day and literally just read the first 5 pages of that book, okay? And then you take a 10-minute break, you go back, you read 10 pages of that book. That is going to strengthen your drive to want to read a book. So it's kind of like you're just taking, and then an important thing too I want to say is, like, I don't think a lot of people, you know, or some people, I'm not going to say a lot because I'm pretty sure a lot of people do this thing, but some people probably don't do it. But some people don't take a big break when they're reading books. Some people like to read books and read them and read them and read them and drive their mind crazy. No, you don't want to do that. You want to read a book and take a break and read. Just like, for example, if you're studying for a test, you don't just study, and then drive your mind tired. No, you study and then you take a break and then you study again and you take a break. That's going to give your mind a refresh. When you take a break, you're refreshing your brain and you're also increasing your memory. So you don't want to just like overdo it and everything. So yeah, these were my tips of ways to get out of a reading slump, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And yeah, let me know also what are your favorite books to read, because I'm interested and I might read them. So yeah.